Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is doing well out there today. I thought we would kind of take a break from the normal server stuff that we've been doing for so long now and talk about something else that I really enjoy doing, and that's playing video games. Here a while back, I had the opportunity to take a look at one of the new Raspberry Pi Nintendo cases, and you may have seen several other creators with this case. I've actually had this case for a few weeks now, and honestly, I just suck and never got to it. So I thought I would take the time today to take a look at this case. So I want to give a big shout out to Acnes for sending this case over to me to let me take a look at it, and it's pretty cool. Like I said, I've had it for a while. I put it together already, and I've had a chance to use it. So let's jump over to to my desktop here. Since like I said, I already built this thing, recorded the whole process, and I just kind of want to talk about what that process was like just a little bit here. So let's jump over to my desktop and take a look at this process. Okay, so here you can see that the case that it comes in, this NesPi 4 case, they've done a great job with branding and just the overall aesthetic of the case. Of course, as I have to kind of shake all this stuff to get it out, it's very tightly packed in there. And it came to me with no damage or anything like that. Of course, first thing we get is an accessories bag with a micro HDMI converter, as well as a couple of heat sinks that I ended up never actually using. I actually stuck one to the front of my case just because I thought it looked good there. Here we've got the power supply. This is a 5 volt, 3 amp, 15 watt power supply for the Raspberry Pi 4. Of course, here we've got the actual case, and we'll go ahead and get this opened up. But first, it says, please remove the SD card before installing the Raspberry Pi. You'll still have access to that card, but not while you're putting this thing together. And of course, there are some instructions that I really should have followed as I was putting this together, because I definitely missed a few things. So we'll go ahead and take the cartridge out first. Of course, that's where your SSD is going to go, so you can install your RetroPi or whatever you want to install on there, store your games all on an SSD for faster boot times, that sort of thing. And of course, the buttons on the front actually work for save, shutdown, and restart, as long as you install the script that you actually installed, probably via SSH if you wanted to go that route. Of course, once we open this up, we've got a heat sink with a fan that will just plug into the GPIO pins. So here you can see what that heatsink looks like. It's pretty sturdy. I believe it's aluminum. And then, of course, inside we've got some more wires that are going to plug into the USB ports on the Raspberry Pi inside. And it's kind of at this point where I really should have paid attention. Like the network card plugs in just fine, but I really should have paid attention to where those USB ports actually plug in on the board to make it fit. I actually struggled with this for a bit. I don't have any excuse other than just sheer ignorance. There is a certain order in which those USB ports have to be plugged in order for them to fit in the case properly. And once I figure that out, we can move forward. Yeah, not that one, you idiot. No, it goes in the top one. If it doesn't go in the top one, it won't fit. So hopefully, let's plug that in there. No. And then, nope, still has to go in the top one. I'm nuts. See, it doesn't fit because the wire is interfering with that board there, and I just, for whatever reason, couldn't wrap my brain around the idea that I just needed to move it up to the top port. All right, so there we go. It's all plugged into the top port. Now I can plug the network cable in there, the Ethernet cable adapter, and everything just fits in there real nicely at that point. Just like so. There's a better angle of that. We really do want to go ahead and get the heat sink on there with the fan. So we're going to go ahead and apply the included thermal pads. There's a couple of those in there. This is actually why I didn't use the metal thermal plates. I just used the thermal pads that came with it, and it worked out really well. Everything fits in there real nicely. So we'll go ahead and get those on there, and then we can get the heat sink on there with the fan. You kind of want to be careful about, again, following the instructions, because if you put the wrong screws in, the case won't go together. And I struggled with that a bit too, because I apparently am too good to read the instructions. So once I got past that, the rest of it went together pretty simply, because there was really nothing else I could screw up at that point. So there we'll go ahead and put the top of the case on and get it seated properly. And we'll flip it over, and then you can see that there are a series of screws that need to go in there to hold everything together. And then once we get that in there, the case is basically built, everything's ready to go. And then we can get the the cartridge belt with the SSD like so, and basically at that point we are good to go. Okay, so here we have the final case. Here you can see is where I put that one of those heat sinks. Didn't really have any use for it inside the case, so I just thought it would look good right there. Of course, you've got your two USB ports here. You've got just a standard USB 2 and a USB 3. Not entirely sure why they did a USB 2 and a USB 3 there, but they did. So there's that. Power button, reset button. Once you get the scripts installed on here, these actually work appropriately for safe shutdown and safe reset, that sort of thing. If we come over here to the side, we get access to the micro SD card there, so we can use that if we still want to. Of course, with the way this case is built, I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. On the back, we've got access to all of our I/O, including a couple of micro HDMIs, USB-C, Ethernet, that sort of thing. What I wish they had done here, since they did use a breakout board to get all of this back here, I kind of wish they had done with this what Argon 1 did on their breakout board and used a full-sized HDMI here. I really dig this. This is much more user-friendly in my opinion than having just a couple of micro HDMI ports. And these, I hate these. I hate the adapters. They always feel like they're going to break as far as I'm concerned. So if we flip over to here, nothing on this side, but if we come over to the bottom here, we've got all their branding. And then right down here, which I thought was kind of a neat little addition, micro SD storage there. So pretty cool to have that on the bottom. And then of course, this opens up and the cartridge comes out. And that's what the little cartridge looks like. I've actually reached out to them and asked them if they plan on just selling these cartridges as little one-offs. They probably won't, which is kind of a shame because this is a cool way to store SSDs. If you wanted to just take this out and put a different one in, have a different operating system up and running literally in the time it takes to swap a cartridge. I thought that would be really neat. But there's a chance you could probably 3D print one of these and make your own cartridges. As long as you got the all the holes lined up correctly so that your SATA ports are in the right spot. I imagine it wouldn't be too hard to 3D print something like that. But there's the cartridge, and of course it just slides right in like so. And that's what it looks like when it's all put together. Okay, guys, so there you go. There's the process of putting this case together. Even a little gameplay in there from some old school Mario. I felt that was appropriate for this case. But overall, again, I want to thank folks for sending this thing over. Very cool. I will have links to this in the description down below where you can pick one of these up for yourself if you're interested in doing that. So yeah, I know this was a bit of a break, a deviation, whatever you want to call it, from our normal content. But the reality is, if you're into computers and servers, there's a real good chance you're probably into gaming, and especially, I think with my audience, maybe in some retro gaming, because I think we're all, if I kind of look at my numbers, between about 18 and 35, 45, kind of in that age range there, where you probably remember the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, a lot of those older games that just aren't the same as, or the games today just aren't the same as they were back then. And sometimes it's nice to go back to a different time as far as gaming is concerned. So I really dig this. I want to thank them for sending this over. And of course, there will be links in the description down below where you can pick one of these up for yourself. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. As always, thanks for your time. I always appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you in the next video.